Jungkook's eyes fluttered open and the bright cheerful lights of the hospital room greeted him. He blinked several times trying to clear the haze from his vision. His body felt heavy, his mind foggy. He tried to move but noticed wires and tubes attached to him. Panicked, he reached to detach the wires, his fingers trembling. The sudden movement sent a jolt of pain through his arms, causing him to wince. Just as he pulled one free, the door opened and the doctor hurried in. "Easy there," the doctor said, gently removing his hand away from the wires. "You need to stay still." Where am I?" Jungkook asked in a low, raspy voice, his throat dry and sore. He looked around, trying to make sense of surroundings. The doctor sighed, his expression a mix of concern and weariness. "How are you feeling?" he asked, checking the monitors and the IV drip. "I don't know," Jungkook replied weakly. "Everything hurts. I feel lost." Doctor noted, taking clipboard from the end of the bed and jotting down notes. "What happened to me?" He checked Jungkook's pulse and adjusted to what IV drip. More to himself than to Jungkook. "But you are stable now." He struggled to remember anything, but his mind was blank. "Do you know my name?" The doctor looked up, his expression shifted to one of concern. "You don't remember your name?" Jungkook shook his head slowly. "No, I don't." The doctor noted down something while he looked confused there. "You should rest. Your wife will be here," he said. "My wife?" Jungkook looked at the doctor like he said something alien, waiting for more explanation, but the doctor simply gave a small nod and left the room. He lay there. He had no memory of having a wife. His head throbbed as he tried to recall any details. The room was silent except the beeping of the machines. He closed his eyes, trying to calm his racing thoughts, and then he dozed off. He woke up from the sound of a door cracked open again, and his eyes snapped open. A girl walked in, her footstep almost inaudible against the tile floor. She approached. He took in her appearance. She was strikingly beautiful, with long dark hair cascading over her shoulders. Her eyes were large and expansive, but it looked dull at that moment. He watched her closely as she came closer to his side. She looked at him that made him feel both comfort and easy. She raised his side and gave him a smile which didn't reach her eyes. "How are you feeling?" she asked in a low voice. He just lay there staring at her. He couldn't tear his eyes away from her face. He swallowed hard, his throat still dry. "I am okay, I think," he said slowly. His voice was weak. Who are you?" She looked at him, her smile faltering for a moment before she forced it back. "I am Mayan," she said softly. Jungkook just stared at her for a moment, thinking if something, her name, anything, click his name, but he was blank. Can I get water, please?" She nodded and walked over the other side of the room, filling a glass with water. She came back and helped him sit up, then held the glass to his lips as he drank. While he was drinking, he noticed something, the ring on her finger, the same one he saw on his own, a couple ring. He looked up at her. When he finished drinking, he couldn't stop himself. Are we married?" She looked surprised. For a moment, her eyes widened slightly. She followed his gaze to her ring, then looked back at him. He smiled softly and nodded, not saying anything more. He could see that she was holding back a flood of emotion. Jungkook continued to stare at her, trying to process everything. "When will I get started?" he asked, his voice still weak. "The doctor said they will need to run a few more tests," she replied softly. "But hopefully soon. They just went to make sure you are okay." He nodded slowly, placing his head back to the pillow and closed his eyes. After a few days, Jungkook was finally discharged from the hospital. Wayne guided him to the front door of their home, her keys jingling softly as she unlocked it. Jungkook stood behind her, taking in every small detail of their surroundings. The house was unfamiliar, yet it had certain warmth to it. "This is our house," she said softly, stepping inside and holding the door open for him. He nodded, walking in slowly. "It looked like a new house." She smiled a little. "It is. We bought it 4 months ago." "Oh," he said, absorbing the information. "Where did we live before?" "We used to live in an apartment downtown, but we wanted more space, so we moved here. That's all," he murmured, looking around the room. Then he remembered something from the hospital earlier. You were saying something about leaving and booking something. Are you going somewhere? She turned towards him, a small smile forming on her lips. We are going to Hawaii. Ah, but why? He asked, genuinely puzzled. I wanted to relax, she replied. I know this is also confusing for you. She took a deep breath and continued. The doctor said that your memory loss might be temporary, but it's important to avoid stress. He mentioned that painful memories would make things harder for you. Jungkook tried to process her words. For all I know, you could be lying about being my wife, he said, attempting a joke, but the attempt fell flat. Her expression turned sad, and she looked away. I'm sorry, he said quickly. I didn't mean it like that. Why did he even try to make a joke? He doesn't remember a single thing, not even his name, and now that beautiful woman is claiming to be his wife, he is making her constantly sad. If the woman is really his wife, he don't wanna imagine how painful it's for her. He doesn't even remember her. She forced a smile and tried to brush it off. It's okay, I know it's hard for you. She took a deep breath. Come on, I will show you your room. I will pack your things and we will leave tomorrow. He nodded further, not questioning, and take a small tour of the house and then help his wife to pack his clothes. There is where we will be staying, she said softly, watching his reaction as they arrived at the beautiful villa nested right by the ocean. The night took his breath away. His jaw dropped as he looked around. The villa was stunning with the large windows where you could see the panoramic view of the ocean, elegant furnishing, and the spacious open layout. He placed his bag beside the bed. We are rich? He asked, almost in awe. For the first time in the past days, he saw her face light up and he heard a chuckle, her eyes twinkling. I suppose you could say that. We worked hard for it. One, or more accurately, you worked hard for it. What do I even do? I mean, what's my job? Am I a celebrity or something? She smiled, walking beside him. No, you are not a celebrity. You are very successful in your field. Let's just say you have made some very smart decisions. He looked at her. But what field is that? Business? Technology? Art? You used social media a lot while you were in the hospital. Jungkook shrugged, feeling a bit self-conscious. I have nothing better to do. Plus, I need to catch up on everything, but I don't really remember anything, so it's starting from scratch. I get that. It's hard not knowing things you used to know, but don't worry about it too much right now. I'm here to help you. You can ask me anything. He gave her a small smile. Thank you. This place is really nice. Right, I always wanted to explore here. Jungkook had another question rose in his mind, but instead he stayed silent. The whole ride he kept asking her question. He just wanted to up to date. He is new person with no memory. He doesn't even know how he used to behave or act before answering his question. She didn't even show annoyance for a second. Later, they had lunch and she started unpacking their bags while he watched, feeling a bit useless. He decided to help picking up a shirt and placing it to the closet. So how long are we staying here? For more than a month. Ryan replied, I thought it would be good to take our time, let you recover at your own pace. He nodded and helped her in unpacking the rest of the stuff. Jungkook changed his clothes, but his shirt was off, revealing a body covered in tattoos, and he stared at himself in the mirror. He traced the design on his arm, his fingers brushing over the full waves of ink. And slightly a tattoo on the back of his neck caught his eye. He rubbed it, trying to figure out what it was. He was engrossed in examining himself that he didn't hear the door open by and walked inside and stopped short when she saw checking himself out. She raised an eyebrow. I thought I left you sleeping there. He sighed and turned to face her. I couldn't sleep. I was curious about so many things. She walked closer, her eyes scanning his tattoos. What are you curious about? He looked down at himself, then back at her. I think you will get tired answering my every question. Vina smiled as she placed her hand on his arm. I won't. You just need to ask whatever you want. Jungkook sighed. Do you know why I get all those tattoos? Do they have any meaning or they just, random? His gaze fell on his tattoo. Her eyes traced each of them. Her hand reached out softly, caressing the ink. Well, you were always fascinated by tattoos. Few of them have meaning and the rest of them are just design you loved. And this one of the back of my neck. He twisted slightly, showing you the tattoo on the back of his neck as she questioned her. Eyes drove to the spot he indicated, taking in the design on his neck. His tattoo had always captivated her, and this was no different. She reached out to trace it with her fingertip. The touch almost tracing. The skin beneath her finger felt warm, and she could see goosebumps racing on his skin at the contact. He cleared his throat softly, trying to maintain his composure. That one, it's a bit more personal. You got it because you said it was a reminder of something important to you, but you never told me exactly what it was. His brows furrowed. I never told you why. Because you said it was personal. You will tell me when is the time. Personal, it must be something important. If I got a tattoo of it, I wish I could remember what it is. She squeezes his arm softly. You will remember everything. Don't push yourself too hard, We can here to relax, remember? He stared at her for a moment before taking a deep breath. He shook his head slightly, letting the tension in the shoulder relax. He sighed and gave you a small, grateful smile. The look in his eyes softened. Right, by the way, where did you went before? Just to check on a few things, making sure everything is perfect here for us. He nodded, pulling on his shirt. They didn't exchange any word after that. The silence settling comfortably between them. She walked to the other side of the bed and picked up the pillow. He furrowed his brows, watching her intently. Where are you going? I'm going to sleep on the couch. Why? The bed is big enough for both of us. She hesitated, clutching the pillow. I didn't want to make you uncomfortable. He stepped even closer. His eyes looked onto hers. You want, he said firmly. If you made me even slightest bit of uncomfortable, I wouldn't be standing here asking you to stay. Are you sure? Positive. Now let's get some rest. I'm tired. She started at him for a moment longer and he raised an eyebrow. What? He asked. She nodded her head and went towards their bed. A small smile on her lips as she sat beside him. He turned off the lamp and pulled the dirt over them. He then moved closer to her, sneaking his arms around her waist and pulling her closer. I thought you would be uncomfortable around me, she whispered softly. He tightened his hold on her slightly, feeling awfully comfortable. I would have been before, but now I feel like I know you have been here for me since day one, taking care of me and everything. I trust you. Her breath hissed at his word, her heart fluttered even more. You trust me? Yes. You have shown me nothing but kindness and care. Even though I can't remember anything, I can feel that you are genuine. That means a lot to me right now. As she relaxed under his touch, leaning back, she closed her eyes. A few days passed smoothly. They both fell into comfortable routine, exploring the beautiful surroundings of Hawaii and gradually getting to know each other. He found himself relaxing more with each passing day. Every morning they would share breakfast on the patio, enjoying the breathtaking view of the ocean. Jungkook would often stare out of the horizon, lost in thoughts, while she was sneaking glances at him, wondering what was going on in his mind. Jungkook emerged from the bathroom, wearing simple white shirt with sleeves rolled to his elbow. Is this okay for wherever we are going? But his word fumbled when his gaze settled on her. She stood in front of the mirror, adjusting a sundress that flowed gracefully around her. The dress was soft, pastel color that complemented her skin, and the thin strap showed off her delicate shoulders. Her hair fell loose waves, framing her face beautifully. He was momentarily speechless, his eyes drinking in the sight of her. Is something wrong? She asked softly. His eyes widened slightly, getting caught. He blinked, trying to not to ogle at her. You look beautiful. She looked back at the mirror, trying to hide the blush that crept up her cheeks. Thank you. He cleared his throat and gestured to his outfit. Is this okay? She wiped her eyes up and down his figure, taking in the white shirt that held his broad shoulder and the light beige shorts that showed his toned legs. His rolled up sleeves and the ink that decorated his arm. Her gaze lingered for a moment before she met his eyes again. You look great. He rubbed the toe of his neck. Thanks. Later, they walked along the beach. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden glow. The sky was painting with the shades of orange, pink and purple, and the sound of the wave gently crashing against the shore. Jungkook glanced at her, who was walking beside him, her sundress swaying with the breeze. I was wondering how come no one called me or checked up on me while I was in the hospital. Man looked away, a flicker of sadness crossing her face. He noticed her reaction. Did my parents not like me, or was I just too much for handle for them? He said, trying to lighten the mood, and she sighed, shaking her head. You don't have any family, you are an orphan. He paused and then nodded. Well, that explained the lack of calls. I guess I wasn't exactly the paper child they left me early. You did have one friend, Jimin, but he is mostly out of the city. I didn't inform him about your conditions. Oh, well, I guess I was living a pretty boring life all alone with just my tattoos for a company. No wonder they look so serious, right? Wan shook her head. No, quite. You do have people who care about you, and me, I'm your wife, and can assure you, your life was anything but boring. He chuckled. Yeah, I have a beautiful life. How could my life have been boring with someone like you in it? She nodded. Shut up. Do you come here before? He asked, his voice soft. She shook her head. No, I always wanted to, but never got the chance. Jungkook, why not? Because I was always busy with my work, but now I'm glad I came here with you. She said, smiling widely. He stared at her, feeling a warm spirit through him. She intertwined her hand with his, and they walked in a comfortable silence. A whole month passed and they had relaxed, enjoying everything Hawaii had to offer. The days were perfect. It was their last night in Hawaii before heading back to home. Jungkook's memory hadn't returned, not even a bit, but that didn't seem to matter. He was enjoying every single moment with her like falling in love all over again.